Welcome to Pick Up New Mexico. Again, I'm Isiah, your host, and we have our first guest on the show today. Yes, everybody, round of applause, Miss Secretary of State Maggie Toulouse Oliver. Woo! Awesome. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
Good, good. So, if you don't mind telling our viewers what you do, what Secretary of State does.
Well, the Secretary of State does a lot of things. First of all, it is the third highest office in the state. So if ever the governor or lieutenant governor are out of the state, even though we have, email and cell phones now, I will be the acting governor. My job mainly consists of being the chief elections officer for the state. So I oversee every single election, state, federal, and local, conducted in the state at all levels, working together with county clerks and municipal clerks.
We know in Arizona they did a whole audit and looked at bamboo and some other stuff like lasers or just some crazy stuff. So here in New Mexico, have you had any stop the steal threats or like guys come up to you and try to tell you the election was stolen or anything?
I have the usual number of trolls on the internet that all have watched a YouTube video and decided that they're election experts, as opposed to the over 15 years worth of election administration experience that I have.
She's not bragging. She's not bragging.
Just a humble brag. But, there have been some efforts, the same group of people, they're venue shopping around the state. They're going to different county commissions. But, the irony of all of this is if these folks actually had done their homework and knew anything about how we do elections in New Mexico, we've already been auditing our elections since 2008. That's why we have paper ballots. And it's really boring, unsexy, nerdy stuff, but we do every general election. We go back and we spot check. We use this, a CPA comes in, randomly selects precincts. It's all very transparent. When our response to these folks about, we really need to do audits, we do them. Mm-hmm. Here's a report. And it's like they didn't even hear us. They just have this these talking points in their mind, right, about this is what we need to do. Yeah,
and just so you know, if any of these guys try to tell you how to run your elections or anything, we're your posse here. We got you. We got you.
I appreciate the posse.
The posse. I'll just be here for the look. I know her, and I'll stand behind you.
I think you could look very intimidating if you wanted. Yeah.
Me? Intimidating. So in a few states, there's been the legislators who have changed rules and everything to allow people who weren't even elected to be in office. The people that were elected can get pushed out. What is that about? And is that going to be happening in New Mexico?
Yeah, well, no. We're not going to let that happen here. So there have been efforts that allow these legislatures to completely replace the slates of electors to the Electoral College if they don't like the folks that the people elected. And of course, again, this is all under the guise of, that elections have been rigged or voter fraud. But really what it is, legislatures subverting the will of the people that voted and putting their own slates of electors in instead. No, over my dead body, we will not do that here in New Mexico.
Good, awesome. That is great to hear, and I'm glad to hear that because it feels like lately it's just kind of everything goes, and it's just we need people like you who are standing up for democracy.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know at least 6 of my cousins all live in the same house, aren't getting out to vote. I'm thinking of like incentives. I love all that, but I mean, I've tried sitting down with my sister or my cousin, and they're just not for it. Now, to the streets, where we find out who votes and who doesn't. Awesome, so we are here in Albuquerque with? Brianna, so we got you right here in front of Frontier or Sagio's, and I just want to ask you, do you vote?
No.
You don't vote, so you're not registered at all?
I am registered.
Okay, so you are registered, but you don't take part of the process.
Right.
Are you registered to vote?
Absolutely. I haven't missed voting since I was 18 years old.
You are registered to vote. Did you just sign up, or have you voted in a past election before?
I just signed up and then I just voted.
Are you going to be voting for this election in November?
For the governor?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Are you registered to vote?
Yes.
Do you vote?
Yeah, I do.
Did you vote in the last election?
Yes.
Did you vote in the last election?
I did, yeah.
Okay, awesome. And then do you have friends who are possibly non-voters or who think the system is rigged?
I grew up in New Mexico, so absolutely, of course.
There's a lot of New Mexicans out there that are believing that. Did you vote in the last election?
I did not vote.
So you're not registered to vote,
I'm registered though.
but you don't vote.
No.
Alyssa, are you registered to vote?
I'm not.
You are not registered to vote, and can you give me some reasonings as to why you're not registered to vote?
Because I don't vote.
Okay, and are you registered to vote?
I'm not actually.
So why do you think voting is so important?
It dictates how we live, you know, as individuals, as groups, no matter what group we're from, ethnically, politically, it's so important.
Women didn't have the right for so long. It's a right. It's an honor, and get out there and vote.
I just did it because my mama like, I don't know.
Your mom told you to vote,
Yeah, pretty much.
so you voted.
For Biden, yeah.
That's a good kid. That's a good kid. Yeah,
Vote, so I voted who she voted for. And like, I don't like Trump because he said fuck Mexicans, and I'm light skinned, I'm black and Mexican, so like fuck Trump.
awesome. We got it. Thank you very much. Thank you guys.
I said I don't vote because voting is a barter system, and it's been broken since its inception. Having votes not being evenly distributed based on class, based on race, based on gender.
Did you vote in the last election at all, or did you just recently start not voting?
You know, I've never really voted. Yeah, I've always registered, but come the polls, like I'm like, I'm not gonna make it, so I don't. You know.
I'm at now where you feel like even if you are to go out and vote, it doesn't mean much, you know? Like your individual vote doesn't mean anything. And that's just kind of how I feel.
How do you encourage people to get out to vote?
I just tell them that if they don't vote, they don't have a part. They don't get to complain. They don't get to, yeah.
Exactly. So you should not be complaining if you're not voting. How do you encourage them to get out and vote?
Oh man, I don't, or not really. Sometimes I take him around. I have this friend. He's kind of an older guy, and if you tell him that you don't vote or you're registered or not registered, he'll yell at you and tell you you're an idiot. So I take him to meet him sometimes.
So if you could give out some incentives to the young people, what do you think young people would want?
Money,
Money? How much money?
just a little bit. It doesn't have to be that much. It's like the vaccine thing. Just let things get bad enough, people will start voting.
Give them beer and then they'll vote.
Oh, that's a hard one, actually. I feel like it would be very hard to get young people to vote. You know, I feel like we're so caught up with, you know, daily struggles that we don't think it's really worth it for us.
So like you should be able to like text your vote in.
I don't know about text to vote. I mean, I feel like if you text to vote, I could get as many numbers as I want and just text my vote in.
Maybe like handing out some joints, free joints maybe.
Free joints. Man, I'll vote right now. You hand out free joints.
That's it. Maggie Toulouse, you gotta start handing out some free joints, and we'll get people who aren't registered to vote to start
Voting today.
voting today. There you go. Awesome. Thank you so much.
All
What if
right?
you gave out free joints?
You're not allowed to provide some sort of material incentive to ask people to vote.
Okay.
Not directly. You can't have that quid pro quo.
So no material.
No bribes.
No bribes.
Yeah.
Could you do like a kissing booth in the voting booth? With somebody who's really attractive, like really good looking, that you're like, I'm gonna go vote, so that while I'm voting, get a quick kiss on the cheek.
So we'd have to think about how that would work, because really no one else is supposed to be in the voting booth with you but you. But if you say you're a person who needs assistance with voting and you can choose a person to come with you, maybe that assistance is that they need to kiss you. while
Raul
you're
Torres,
voting.
I need assistance, voting wise. Come on down. I'm just saying, the guy is a beautiful man.
Yeah.
New Mexico politics, man. I'm just like,
He definitely can't go in the voting booth with you, though,
Oh, okay.
because that would be electioneering at a polling place.
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
See, I don't even know
yeah.
elections. Like,
I know, but that's why you have me here.
that's why I have you here. Awesome. You guys should. I had a great idea a few weeks ago on how you could get maybe the youth to vote a little bit more.
I'm excited.
Maybe just
Tommy.
like a Tinder or like a Grindr app, and it has like Mark Ronchetti or whoever it is, and you can be like, nah, I don't want that.
Just
or
swipe left and
Swipe
right.
left or right on which candidate you would want. Do you think that would get more?
You mean to just to be able to vote that way?
Yeah, why not? I mean, like Maggie Toulouse, yeah, I'll swipe right. Right's good, right?
I don't know. I've
never
never
been on Tinder?
online dated. I'm old. I think that's a great concept. And I think as in terms of like voter education and outreach, the more kind of cool things like that we do, the better. Because you could create an app like that and use that for your like sample ballot, right? And basically do that and, get a little, summary at the end of the day of the candidates you swiped right on.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking that far into it.
Well-
I'm only like a millennial. I wasn't like, here's what we could do. But that makes a lot more sense. Kind of, this is a cool candidate. I'll save it for later. Like,
If I make one of
bookmark.
those, I'll give you credit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I did want to close with you asking the youth to vote. Just tell the youth why they should vote and why it's important and how and where to find information at. So take it away.
We've had 246 years of this amazing experiment that will only continue to last into the future, where we, the people, the voters, no matter how rich or how poor, get to have a say in our elected leaders. And the only way that's going to continue is if every single eligible person gets out to vote, especially our young people who have the most at stake in every single election. And so I would just encourage any young person who's interested in casting that ballot and making their voice heard, go online, nmvote.org, register to vote. Request an absentee ballot, find out where you can vote, and not just you, but your friends, your relatives, even the people you don't like. Encourage them to vote as well, because all of our future, but especially your future, the young folks of this state and this planet have the most at stake.
So again, I want to thank the first guest ever on our show, Secretary of State Maggie Toulouse Oliver, and I am your host, Isiah Yazi. Thank you for watching Pick Up New Mexico.
Fabulous.